The first one that I'm going to talk about is people are poor for lack of confidence. Lack of confidence or lack of self-esteem is leading a lot of people in poverty. It's leading people into poverty. And what do I mean by that? If you do not have a belief in yourself that you can do anything good, anything big enough, you would remain where you are. In fact, you will not be challenged to move up the ladder if you are at work. You will not be challenged to do anything extra because you do not believe that you can attain to anything. And this reason has kept millions of people under, under severe poverty, severe disease, because they do not believe in themselves. They do not have that self impetus, that self push that will tell them that no, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and because they are listening to that voice that tells them you will fail or you can't do it. Sometimes people have developed this idea of not being able to go anywhere right from childhood, from their upbringing, maybe their mom, their dad, or maybe somebody they know, somebody they lived with, the teachers that taught them in school. Teachers are very influential in the early years of a child's life. And if your teacher did not believe in you, I'm telling you, you are not going to go anywhere if you do not break that cycle. So if your teachers told you that you cannot do anything, if your mom and dad told you that you cannot do anything, if you do not have that wherewithal to stand on your ground and be confident, that lack of self-confidence is going to keep you in perpetual poverty, perpetual disease, because you cannot really come out of your shell and do anything meaningful in your life. So that is the first reason why people remain poor. People remain in the way they are is they do not have any confidence. They have either taken in voices of people who have consistently told them you cannot do it, or you don't have the skill, or you are not smart enough, or for where you went to school, there's nothing that you can do. Oh, because of this, that, and that, I don't think you can do this. They have internalized those critical issues in their lives and have therefore folded their arms and sat without doing anything. And if you have that always on you, that burden of you, thinking you cannot do anything on you, then you will not do anything because you have internalized that, and your body, your mind, your hands, everything tells you that you cannot. And because of that, you don't even make the attempt to do something new. And that is what has kept a lot of people in abject poverty. In fact, it has made people also sick. If you are sick, or if you have some kind of a disease, if you're diagnosed with some kind of a disease, or your family has some kind of an issue running through them, let me use an example that is common to people. Maybe diabetes runs in your family, and you've seen your parents, you've seen your grandparents, you've seen your siblings, everybody getting diabetes. In fact, some of them even dying out of complications of diabetes, and and if you do not tell yourself that I am able to overcome this, if you do not have the confidence to beat diabetes, you will just fold your arms and wait for diabetes to hit you. And so having self-confidence or overcoming self-confidence is the first key to overcoming perpetual poverty and disease. It's one of the keys, I should say. So lack of confidence or self-esteem is one of the reasons why. Remember, we are talking about why people remain poor. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people remain the way they are. You may not be poor. You may be in a certain place of life that could use some kind of improvement. You are okay, but you could get more and bless others. But if you don't have confidence, if you don't believe that you can achieve anything, if you don't believe in the move that can bring you from a place to the other, you would just fold your arms and say that this is good enough. I'm good. I got a roof on my head. I got clothes that I wear. I drive a nice car. My wife and kids are doing good. I think I'm going to end it here. It's good enough for me here. If you have that sense of not, challenging yourself because you believe that you cannot do anything, then you will remain where you are. So that is the first reason why people are remaining and continue to remain poor and sick. You don't believe that you can overcome this kind of disease that runs in your family. You don't believe you can overcome cancer, which is, breast, your mama had breast cancer, your grandparents, and you are living right now as in expectation of the same disease happening to you because you have seen it in your family. You don't believe that you can overcome. So if you do not believe in yourself, if you do not have that confidence, you just fold your arms and wait for the negative things to happen to you. So that is the first point. And I'm going to tell a story that I actually heard in church today that brings my point out very, very, very well. There was this gentleman called Gideon, right? This Gideon was going about his own business. And this man, had endured alongside his countrymen. They had endured the brutality of another country, that comes upon them every year for 7 years. They farm, they produce a lot of crop, and as soon as the harvest comes, this group come and then destroy or steal their crop. So 7 good years, these people, Gideon and his folks, were living under constant fear of the enemy, because the enemy would come and steal their crop or destroy their farms and with their cattle and everything. So this man had given up. He did not believe that he had any self-confidence. This Gideon went, and after harvesting his crop, thinking that the enemies of the land are going to come, Midianites are going to come and steal and destroy his crop. He went into a cave, and on the cave he was doing, the grain. He was trying to prepare the grain for it to be right. What we call putting the grain on the threshing floor and stuff like that. So basically, he was hiding in the cave. This is a man that was hiding in the cave for fear of what the enemies are going to do. Now, a lot of people like you and I are hiding in our own little caves. We do not have physical caves under the ground where people run to and stay there. But I can tell you that some of you who are watching today, you are in your own little cave. You are hiding in the cave because you do not believe that you can overcome the odds. You just would hide in the cave and stay there as long as you can do your little farming, as long as you can get your little income, as long as you can just, live by the little things you have. You would just remain in your cave. And that is what keeps people poor. A lot of people who are poor are literally just remaining in caves. They do not want to step out. They don't want to come outside and face the challenges. They don't want to come outside because they don't believe in themselves. That's the key here. They lack the self-confidence. They don't want to step out and face the sun. They don't want to step out and see enemies come. So they will hide the little that they have received from God or from their toil. They will just keep it in the cave. So if you are watching me today and you are a caveman, I challenge you to come out. If you are watching, I'm telling you, some people are cavemen and women right now. You have remained in a cave for a long time. No confidence, for fear of enemies, for fear of failure, for fear of all the things that could go wrong, lack of self-confidence. Kind of like Gideon, you are in your own cave. Come out of your cave. Come out of your cave, because unless you come out, you are going to remain the way you are. However bad it is, that is going to remain. The only thing that can make you face, the issues of life is to come out of your shell, come out of your cave, like Gideon. Come out of your cave and see what God can do with you. See what you can do, the potential that has been placed in you, the strength. But if you hide in the cave, all that is going to happen is you're going to lose vitamin D. And because you don't have sunlight, right? And if you don't have sunlight, your bones are going to be weak. So you are eventually going to be a weak person. Come out of your cave, buddy. Come out of your cave, sister, and let something better happen to you by facing the odds. Do not look down on what you can do. So this Gideon, as the story goes, was visited by an angel. And the angel told him that, you mighty man of valor. In other words, this afraid man, this man who is scared of the enemies who are always coming every year to destroy their crop and is actually hiding in the cave and doing his own thing. The angel of God is telling him he is a mighty man. So if you are watching and you feel like you are weak, I'm telling you, you are a mighty man. You are a mighty woman. You are a great person. All you got to do is to come out. I'm not an angel, but I could replace. I mean, I could play the role of the angel right now. Come out of that cave. You are not weak. You are not supposed to be an afraid man or afraid woman. Come out. Step out of that cave. Get some vitamin D. See the sun, and let the enemies come because you are believing in yourself that you can do more. So the angel told Gideon, "Hey, come out of the cave, you mighty man of valor. You are strong." Even though he was weak, he knew. As a matter of fact, he was, he was comparing himself to all his family folks and his client, and he was saying that no, you're probably talking about somebody else. And that is how life is. You may physically actually look weak. You may physically obviously look like you have nothing compared to others, but you accept and internalize that you are weak. You are not weak, because things you see on the outside doesn't inform completely what we are. So I may be skinny, I may be bald, I may have dark skin, I may have all the things that you can tell. I mean, outwardly, but that is not the full story. The full story is never told unless you hear what is inside of me. Oh my. I'm telling you. Yeah. Unless you hear what is inside of me, unless you know what I can do, unless you can listen to my dreams and my visions and aspirations for my life. So if you are thinking you are weak, if you are thinking you cannot do anything, if you are thinking that nothing out there, can make you succeed, if you are thinking that life is, as people say, life is too short, let me just hide in here in this little thing that I have, this little cave, this little business, this little job, this little career that I already have. I'm always, I'm getting by. You know what I'm saying? That's what people say. I'm getting by. After all, I don't have, big debt. I don't have this. Yeah, you could be getting by, but all it takes is something that is, harsh. Then you could go to rock bottom. So the point I'm trying to say is that do not settle or do not stay in the cave where you are. Believe in yourself. Do not look at the outward and judge yourself as nothing. What is in you? What is in you? Do you believe that God has made you strong enough to overcome the odds? Do you believe that you are smart? If you do not believe you are smart, don't think somebody else is going to believe you are smart. Everybody's going to try and look down on you. Everybody's going to look on you and pass their own judgment of as what you can do and what you cannot. But let the story be told by you. And how are you telling your story? Have self-confidence. Self-confidence. Believe in yourself and know that God has placed something great in you, and the sky is the limit for you if you can just believe in yourself and come out of your shell. Come out of that cave. All right. So Gideon was told, you are the mighty man of valor. You are a great person. You are strong. And he knew himself that he didn't have the muscles. He didn't have all those things that the angel was saying. But if he was able to do anything, he would first have to believe in what the angel was telling him. And as soon as he accepts that, and as the story goes, he becomes a leader of multitudes of people, thousands of soldiers leading the battle for the freedom against the oppressors. So this morning, lack of confidence, lack of self-confidence may be keeping you down. Lack of self-esteem may be telling you that where you have reached is good enough. Stay in your little cave, as they may say. Just stay there. You are in an office, full of a lot of people who are smart people, who are, more experienced, who are well educated. They went to the top schools and stuff, and they make you feel insignificant. It's only going to make you insignificant if you accept that you're insignificant. But if you are going to tell yourself, like the angel told Gideon, you are mighty, you are a mighty man, you are a strong man, you can do this, and begin to walk out of that cave that you have made for yourself, that this is good enough. This office that I am at, this is already good. This is, I'm just going to pitch my tent here and stay here the rest of my life. I get this income. I'm challenging you to move out of that comfort zone with self-confidence. Self-confidence, because that is when you can break through and overcome perpetual poverty and disease. All right. So that is our first point. Self-esteem, a lack of self-esteem is why some people are living in poverty and in sickness. All right. Now, we can also talk about uh, the fact that lack of self esteem is also keeping people sick. People are getting sick and staying sick because they lack self esteem. What do I mean by that? We're talking about life and health, right? So people are staying sick and poor because they do not believe in themselves. They think that if you believe in yourself, if you esteem yourself so high, you wouldn't, just live and let things just happen to you for happening's sake, because you just want to be a statistic. How many times a week are you exercising? What kind of foods are you eating? Are you the person that only eats, fast food, McDonald's or Wendy's or fast foods and stuff like that? Are you the person that's just pizza, only those fast foods? If you believe in yourself, you would treat yourself right. Yeah, I think that we need that. If you believe and trust in yourself, if you have a better self-esteem, if you esteem, self-esteem just means esteeming yourself high, believing that you are worth something. If you believe you are worth something, then you're going to watch out what you put in your mouth. You're going to watch out what you drink. You're not going to soak up on soda every day. You're not going to just be eating anything for eating's sake. You regard yourself as, hey, this is a mighty man. I got to keep myself in shape. You're going to watch out. You're going to exercise. You're going to make sure that at least 3 times a week you are exercising. And, at least for 30 minutes, 3 times a week, because you believe in yourself. You believe that you should be there for good stuff. You don't let things just happen to you, So self-esteem also tells how you invest in your own health. If you lack self-esteem, it's gonna show in the diseases you are gonna get. Self-esteem, lack of self-esteem and self-confidence. So it affects how you treat your body. Your entire body is going to be an evidence of what you believe you are. Trust me, if you believe you are a good person, if you believe that God made you for a reason, if you believe that you have more miles to cover in this life, you are going to make sure that you take care of your body. You are not just going to live anyhow. You're not just going to be like, whatever happens, happens. After all, everybody will die. You see, that statement tells me you do not believe in, your survival for any good. You just living and dying. And that would inform somebody and will tell why you are not, doing anything about exercise, anything about taking your medications. If you're on medication, you take it today, tomorrow you don't. Because you don't have reason to live. You don't believe in any good thing happening to you. Lack of self-confidence. It will make you sick. It will make you get all the diseases that there are. But I challenge you that you do not do that. You have to esteem yourself, your body better than you have ever done. And that will make you invest in your own health and do much better than you have ever done. So lack of self-esteem. In the interest of time, I'm just going to go to the next point. We're already in 20 minutes through the show. So the next point, the next reason why people get sick or are living in perpetual poverty is that they are always late. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, this is a huge thing. They are always late. They are always late. They are always late. I'm telling you, a lot of people are late for everything. Late for everything. And some people who are from Africa, we have internalized that statement that says that African time. There's no African time. There's time. And there's nothing. If your time is not time, you are not following time. And those of you who run late for everything, I can tell you most of the time you are poor. Just watch rich people. Unless they already made the money and they don't care about anything anymore. But if a rich man is saying that they're having a meeting with you, they will be there. They'll make sure that they're going to be there. But a poor man, give them a whole day. They will add a half a day to it and then they will show up late. So if you are going to overcome poverty, then you got to overcome being late. Being late for everything. Last couple of years, I just heard this statement. I don't know who said it, but the statement was that this person said they would rather be an hour early for everything than to be a minute late. My goodness, I'll say it again. Be an hour early on time, 1 hour before the time actually is due, 1 hour early before the meeting, 1 hour early before everything, or rather than to be 1 minute late. In other words, if a meeting starts at 10 o'clock, they would be there at 9 instead of getting to the meeting at 10:01. I adopted that system as a resolution for me, I think a couple of years ago, and it changed me. Because from that time, even if I don't make it an hour early, just because I've purpose in my heart, I have to be there earlier than most, I always made it earlier. Now, these days, I'm slacking a little bit. We are all human, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to make it sound like I'm not late for anything at all. But when I actually assumed this belief that particular year, I was almost 100% prompt, on time for every meeting that I went to. All because I believed that time is important. Now, if you are late for everything, I do understand that certain things happen, some of the time you have no control over them. But if you are consistently late, everything, work, you are late, church, you are late, even late for your own home, when you're picking your kids up, you are late. Trust me, you are living a life that doesn't resemble a serious man or serious woman in this life. And it will not surprise me if you are poor or if you are sick or have some kind of a chronic disease because you are late all the time. So change your life. Change your life. I'm telling you, change it. Do not be late for anything anymore. There's no Ghana time. There's no American time. There's no US time. There's no African time. Time is time. If you're going to make it to a place, if you have an appointment and the appointment says 8, be there at 8, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? People, we work with people have internalized this idea of being on time to the point that they are never late for anything. And some people says, no, they can't. Some people say they cannot be on time. And because they also say they cannot, they are always also late. Because it's a choice they have made. It's not unserious attitude, which is usually with the poor. Rich people don't live like that. Serious people who mean business about their lives, they don't live like that. They are on time for everything. On time. At least they try to make sure they are on time. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you are serious about your life from today, get this statement also for you and see if you can do it. Be rather an hour early than a minute late for whatever meeting. Go early, stay in your car. If you are going to preach, go early, stay in your car, read a little more, pray a little more. If you are going to work, go early, be in your car before the company even the doors open. If you consistently do that, you will not be late for anything. And why is that connected to being poor and rich? Because there's time for everything. There is time for everything, an opportunity. I think we talked about this. Gifty and I hit on this last couple of shows very well. Say time happens. Some opportunities come only by one time. And if you miss that opportunity because you are late, you are going to remain where you are forever. God forbid if it's a wrong place. If it's in a cave, you're going to be stuck in that cave for a long time because you missed that opportunity. Remember the man, that's the story that we talked about last time. The man that, a group of people actually, let me just go back a little bit so that we can remember the story. Group of people who were sick in the old time, in biblical times actually, who were sick had opportunity to dip themselves in a body of water, a pool that is stirred once. Let's keep it clearly. That water is stirred once a year. And when it's stirred once a year, you got to make sure you fall into that water, because after the stirring, you're not going to get the angel come down or anybody come down to stir that water for you anymore for you to get your healing. So you got one opportunity once a year. And that same principle exists in life today. You may be going to school at a young age. This is the opportunity to be studious. This is the opportunity to put your head into the studying material. This is the opportunity for you to delve deeper into research. This is the opportunity to enrich your understanding of stuff. This is the time. This is the opportune time, because at some time in your life, you cannot go back. You cannot go back. Much as we say that older folks can still go and get a degree, yeah, but it's not easy. It can never be compared to when you are on there on your toes, young and able to do it. You cannot do it. So the opportunity for doing and studying, maybe now you are watching, but you're playing and watching soccer every day, not studying, watching, basketball, playing video games back to back, not studying. This is your opportune time. At some time in your life, you may not be able to do those things, but it will be too late because you can't look for yourself going back to grade school and doing all those things over again. It will be over. And what you will end up doing is to settle for some kind of a job that you really don't want. But when the opportunity came, you squandered it. Time, you are not on time. You are late. And that is what I'm talking about. You are late for everything. And that creeps from just being late for the places you go to school and church and work and stuff into your whole life. It becomes something that marks you, and it marks you for poverty and disease. So time is important. Be on time for everything. If it is time for you to marry, that's the time. Pray, do all the things that marrying, takes for you to do, and do it. Some men are staying up, they've got a degree, they've got a job, and yet they are not marrying. They are not marrying now. Why? Because they are late. They are being late for whatever reason. Maybe they want to cheat more. They want to have more, ladies in their life before they settle down. But time is running against you. Doing that, what may eventually end up happening is you contract some kind of a sexually transmitted disease, HIV, AIDS. Meanwhile, the person that you could have married at a young age after your degree and everything may be gone. But you squandered the time. You are late. So being late can make you sick. Being late makes you what? Poor. And we develop this attitude of lateness right from childhood. When we are late for our school, when we are late for the dance, when we are always late, our parents are not making time as important as it should be. Time is one of the most important commodities or currencies that we have, because once you're out of time on earth, you are out of here. You can never get the time back. Last year, 2021 is gone, and it's gone for good. Nobody's going to see 2021 anymore. Nobody's going to see 2022. When we ran out of 2022, it's gone forever. Time is the most expensive commodity, and we are wasting it because we are late for it when the opportunity comes. Like the man, when Jesus asked him, do you want to be well? This lame man, this cripple, he said, I've been by this water for 37 years, and nobody picks me up when the angel stirs the water once a year. Once a year, that opportune time that happens, nobody puts him in. And for some of us, once a year, maybe something that is coming around all the time. And yet, because you are not paying attention, because you are not on time, you are missing all those opportunities in your life. Missing all those opportunities. You are late. Bring the application. You are late. Do that research. You are late. Make that connection. You are late. Everything late. No matter you are where you are. Poverty and disease brings disease. Poverty and disease come your way because of lateness, because you are not on time. Be on time. Be on time and overcome poverty and disease. Do not squander the opportunities that come your way. Remember, some opportunities come but once, like the story that we just shared. Some opportunities may come, it will take a whole revolution of the earth for Christmas to come again. We are going to hit Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming soon. But it takes 365 days for you to see another Christmas, for you to see another Thanksgiving holiday. So if you get the opportunity to do something good on Thanksgiving and you squander it, time is not for you. And poor people squander time like they don't know what life is about. So please, come out of yourself, come out of that cave, and also be on time. Be on time. Be the odd person. When everybody is late, you are always there. I've seen people do that, and I'm impressed. And I'm going to stick to trying to make sure that I'm on time for everything. No matter how long it takes for me to get to perfection, because time saved is life lived longer, and not only that, it's money made. You go to work, and what they do for you is they pay you for the time you spend there. Some of the things we do, we could probably not, we probably not need to be there. But for your time that you have gone to spend there, they pay you for it. and time is money, as it said. So be on time, don't be late all the time, so that you will not remain poor and sick all the time. Now, using time also as something with health, even in health, we are about life and health, right? Even on health matters. When time beats you, you can die. Time, when you beat time, when you are late for certain things, you can die. Let's use an example. Um, for instance, for women, we know women, every woman, in your 30s at least, you need to have pap smear, cervical cancer screening for women, right? It's a standard of care. You need to be checked every year, or I mean every so many years as a woman right after age 35. If you are 40, it increases. If you have a family history or somebody died in your family with cervical cancer, you need to be checked, right? To prevent you from having the same disease when it's in your family history. Also, another disease, um, prostate cancer or breast cancer, right? Same thing. Check mammogram. We tell people have your annual mammograms. If you are at the age where you need to do breast self exam, you got to use time, do it, and also go have your mammogram done. It is time. Now, if you miss your mammograms for so many years because you are late for those appointments, because you are late for checking, you may have already had something going on. So you see how important time is and how time can make you sick if you misuse time, if you are late. And that is why you do not want to be late. So don't be late for checking or getting your diagnostic checks. Prostate cancer, it's in your family. The time is up for you to be checked. No checking, just living and seeing and praying and thinking that nothing will happen. Good. But clinically, you need to be checked. There has to be an investigation, and there's a time every time for everybody when you have to get certain things checked. And if you don't do it at the time that you have to do it, and something creeps up, sometimes it gets too late. And that's when they say it's already stage 4. If they had been on time, if they had been investigated and checked, if that breast had been mammogrammed, if that cervix, if pap smear had been done earlier on in their life, if they were not late, if they did not miss those appointments, if they had done it on time, they probably would have caught those diseases in their early stages, and then they would have been fine. They would have been treated. They would have been, those cancers would have been removed and problem solved. Another disease that creeps up on people is colon cancer. Now, there's a standard of care is that at age 45 at least, you got to have colonoscopy done. Now, your doctor may not know. He may not have told you. But if you are 45 years and you don't do it, you are late. You have not done it. You are late for being checked. You see? So time, being late. So I don't know how to say it. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Being late. So just being late for checking those things can get you in trouble. Because if you checked it when you are supposed to check and you are fine, you're fine. But if you check and something is up, because you check on time, because your care is on time, things can be done. They can surgically remove it, a little bit of treatment right here, and then you'll be done and you continue to live. So if you are late all the time, you bring lateness to your appointments, your clinical appointments. And if you are late all the time, I'm telling you, you probably don't know you are hypertensive. Your pressure is very high. Some people too, they've been told that they have high blood pressure, hypertension, and yet they are running against time because they are not following through with their medications. They don't take it. They take it a few days, and if their headache stops, then the pressure is low. Who told you that? They stop the medication, or they take 1 month, and the next time you see them is 5 months. Time. They are late for checking. And you know what is happening? There's hypertrophy of their heart. Their heart is enlarging. Their heart is like a macho man because it's beating every year time. Every year it's beating harder to make sure that the blood is pumped. It's beating harder. That heart is getting failure. Heart that is getting fail. Heart is going to eventually get heart failure or some other thing. So time, if you are not on time, not only are you going to remain poor, you're also going to be sick. So Being on time will make sure you check yourself against blood sugar. Cholesterol will not sneak up on you because, again, you are on time. When you go on your annual visits to your doctor, you ask them, have you checked my blood glucose? Have you checked to see if there's any sugar in my blood? Have you checked to see if I have cholesterol creeping up? And if you are on time for your appointment every year, at least, even when you are not sick, you are checking those things, you are going to get ahead of the game and you will not get sick. But somebody who doesn't, who is late in checking, the only time they find out is when they are in the emergency room, something big has happened. There's a stroke, there's an aneurysm, oh, there's a TIA, something sneaked up on them. It did not just sneak, it started. But that brother, that sister never was on time in checking their own body. So time, if you don't follow time, if you are late, you are going to miss out and you can be sick. All right, because of time, I'm going to move to the next one. The next point why people are sick or why people get poor is that they lack consistency. Lack of consistency. Today they are doing this, tomorrow they are doing that. They start this business today, just before it finishes and it matures, they quit. No, I think this won't work out. Well, if you had stuck to it for long enough, probably you would have seen the result. And you know why people just quit in the middle of things? Because they do not want to endure the hardship that come with starting stuff. They do not want to endure the sacrifice that you got to have in certain things that you want to do. And if you do that, you're going to be a quitter. And being a quitter is being inconsistent. And being inconsistent is an association with poverty and disease. That's what being inconsistent would be. You are inconsistent. You have no focus. You do this when everybody is moving out. I remember some years ago when the economy was, going back and forth here in this state. A lot of our friends moved out of state and went to the nearby state, which was Massachusetts, right? And some of us just stuck here. Of course, we were in school, so we probably didn't have much choice. But when things turned around, they came back. So the time, that they used, to go and settle down there and then come back, it's all time lost. It's all time lost. But if you're consistent, stick to the things that you know. Of course, if something is not working and you have to change, you have to change. But you got to stick to things long enough before you change. You got to stick to things long enough before you change. Otherwise, you will not get the results of anything. Nothing comes easy. I'm telling you, we're doing this show, and sometimes the views are not encouraging. But I'm going to stick to it because I know other people are enjoying and people are getting help. So stick to something with consistency. Whatever you want to do, stick to it. Stick to it. Stick to it. Not being consistent is a mark of failures, is a mark of poor people, and it's a mark of people who get sick. Now, I can bring the health issue too. You're not consistent with checking your blood pressure, your blood sugar, even though you have been told that you are diabetic. Not consistent in taking your medication. You take it for a long time and then you stop for a little bit. Or somebody tells you, oh, you know that this medicine works more, this herbals. Then you stop what your doctor is giving you and you start taking herbal medicines, which ends up sometimes even destroying you because they are not regulated. They are not quantified well properly. I'm not saying all of them are, but stick to what your doctor is doing if he is the trained person who's treating your disease. If you're not consistent with your care, you are going to, go into complications. Your disease is going to be worse. I know people who have had diabetes for decades and they're still moving on with life and everything is working because they are consistent. They go to their doctor's office appointments. They make sure that they are eating right. They are doing their exercises. And if they don't tell you they are diabetic, you probably wouldn't see. In my line of work where we fill prescriptions and stuff, you will see some people, before they run out of their medications, they are there. Other people, you have to call and remind them. Every month, you have to call and remind them, sister, so, do you know that your prescription is due to fail? And it's, oh, okay, I'll stop by, make it ready, and you will fill it. And 2 weeks, it will be there. They won't come, and then you put it back. Inconsistent. So if this person's diabetes or blood pressure gets worse, we know why, because they're inconsistent with your health. And For all you know, they're doing the same thing with your finances. They're doing the same thing with other areas. So they are poor overall. Inconsistency in life, in health, that makes things worse for you. So that's why you may be poor. That's why your disease may be getting worse. Be consistent. Do not listen to the stuff that people are saying. Another a group of people too would not even get vaccinated. They won't be vaccinated because of what other people are saying. Meanwhile, this vaccine has been out there for years. If it would have destroyed people by now, we would have known. Some people are still resisting. I will never get it. As if they have something good they are bragging about. I will never get it, and making stories and videos and stuff about it. Hey, it is your health we are talking here. Be consistent. It is your own life we are talking here. Who would, you know? All right. You know what? We don't want to take too much of your time. So let's move on. Inconsistency. Some people are smoking. They are not quitting. They've been told, quit smoking, quit smoking. You got to quit smoking because you may end up getting lung cancer. I'm not saying that only people who smoke get lung cancer, but I mean, if you smoke, you are at an increased risk for lung cancer. And it's not a good thing to do for your body, and yet inconsistent. You quit today, tomorrow you go back. You quit today, tomorrow you go back. Lack of focus. Quitting quitting smoking is tough, but a person who really wants to invest in progressing will continue to do it because they know what the benefits are. All right, let's go to the last point, and then we will call it a day. The last point that we want to talk about is people are also in perpetual poverty and disease or sickness because they live in fear. Some people live in fear. Because of fear, some people have folded their arms and they would rather remain poor than to step out of their caves, as we describe the caves. They would rather remain poor than to launch out into the deep. Because what happens if the storms start on the sea and their ship begins to rock? What are they going to do? So they rather stay just at the seashore, just at the shore, where the tiny little fish are, rather than to go deep where they can get the big bounty fishes. They will not, because of fear. Some people, for fear of failure, we are not in competition with anything. If you're doing something and you fail to achieve success, you tried. Like I said last time, the person who has failed is the person who has never tried. You are the first failure because you never tried. But if I try and I fail, hey, at least I'm a step ahead of failure. I tried it. Now I've learned something, I've gained something, and I'm moving forward, right? So failure or fear of failure is keeping people, back, letting people think that it is not necessary. But you got to step out and overcome fear with whatever it is in you that you can go out. Because remember, if you don't go, you are failing. So if you go and you fail, that's actually a better option because you tried. All right. So fear of failure. And that's also because people, they measure their life's output in relation to others. What if I go and something happens? This person will laugh at me. This person, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? We're actually going to give you cheers. If you step out and you do something good, you're actually going to receive a big clap. That's what you're going to get. Even if you fail, you tried. Even if you fail, you tried. You're going to be cheered on by people who love you. And people who criticize you will only make your dream even better because they will point you to the places where you can most likely fail. So listen to them and use them as a means of shaping your dream and shaping your goals and your strategies so that you get to the point where you want to be at. So fear of failure must not keep you sitting and doing nothing. Some people are fear of diagnosis. This person died of breast cancer. This person in their family died of diabetes. This person died of a heart attack. I'm not even going to check. Why should I go for colonoscopy? What if they find something? Or why should I check for HIV? What if they find something? Fear of failure. But if you checked and something was found, you start the treatment, and that prolongs your life. Rather than to be saying that, hey, I'm afraid if I go and something is found out, and what am I going to do? Well, if something is there, the fact that you are not going to be checked out doesn't stop that thing from continuing to grow. In fact, it makes it worse. It makes it speed up the negative aspect. And then once it's found, you probably cannot do anything about it. But if you step out and boldly say that I'm going to face that, whatever it is that I feel in my body, I'm just going to go check. And if I'm checked, perhaps I can start treatment and fix things as soon as possible. If you start that way, that would be a better option than to be afraid of diagnosis and stay home without getting checked. The other reason why people are afraid is, I have fear. It's the fear of challenge, fear of adversity. When people think that people are going to, attack them because they are doing something good, or they're trying to achieve something in life. It is something that in many communities, people are scared of launching out because they are afraid of challenge, afraid of the adversity. In fact, for a lot of poor communities, if you stand out and try and beat the odds, I don't know why, but I think it's a devilish mentality. Once you stand out and trying to be better, they begin to paint you with a brush and say that, oh, you think you are like these folks. You think you are better than people, huh? You think you are better than us. No, they don't think. They are trying to better themselves. They are not thinking about you. They are trying to elevate themselves from the nothingness situation. They found a way to live a better life. And you are being threatened and thinking that they are against you or something. And those people actually usually get attacked or being challenged all the time because they are trying to live differently from what everybody is doing. If everybody is staying in this community and nobody in this community goes to college, I don't want to be part of the community that nobody goes to college. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to make sure that I go to college. I'm going to make sure that my kids go to college or my kids go to the university. Don't be afraid of the people who say that, what do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You think you are all, huh? You think you know everything now. Your kids are going to college. So, don't be afraid of that adversity. I'm just using this as an example, but it applies in several ways. In businesses, people trying to set up a business. Nobody in this family has ever set up a business. Nobody in this family has ever, set up a ministry or a church. If you start, the witches and, the demons are going to attack you. Adversity, fear of adversity, and then we quell out and we don't do what we need to do. So that is the fourth point. Because of time, I'm going to end it here, and I'm hoping that you have gotten something out of this stream. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to invite other people to watch our shows every Sunday. And we want to say thank you for watching, and we want to say join us next week, and we will come your way again. But until then, we say, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thank you again.